everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I am here, future Tammy, hopping right in real quick to let you all know and give the little disclaimer as promised for when I do these market videos that I did previously so that you all don't get so confused about them being out of time frame. Yeah. So this market here I did back in August. It was August 16th. And I just wanted to let you all know that this is from that time. Now, I apologize for the way I look. I know I have a scarf on. I'm not too put together for this little snippet here, but I am actually taking a day to myself so that I can work on my other creative project which I love so much, and that's writing. I have finally got the creative bug to start back to editing my novel that I've been working on for the past, I want to say about 5 years now. I have a couple of books that are being edited by me and proofread by me, so that's why it's taken so long with this one. But I have gotten the creative bug for that, and I have really been enjoying the past 3 weeks just working on it and expanding the story more than it is, and also just making up a whole new world for my characters. So it's nice to see it come along, and it's nice to see that my brain is finally back to writer mode. But it's not taken away from any of my small business at all. This is something I work on the side, or I'll take a day or two for it. I am still working on the fall collection, the fall winter collection of my products, and I am excited to start testing some seasonal scents with a couple of my other products and not just my candles. And I'm also, since I'm giving updates here real quick, I'm also close to finishing up the website. And I'm taking a big chance and taking a big leap by doing a website. I'm still going to have the Etsy shop up as well and testing it out for a year and see what happens and compare the analytics between my Etsy shop and my website. So that is getting close to being finalized. I just have to work on a couple of issues as far as mapping out shipping and things like that. So that is the update. I'm going to go ahead and let you all enjoy, hopefully, this market video here. And I'll leave it a secret as to what happens, but I'm gonna stop rambling. I'm gonna cut it here. I'm gonna get back to writing my novel and editing it. And yeah, I hope you all enjoy. Hey everyone, so welcome back to my channel. I am outdoors today. I have a market today in the park and I am all set up. And yes, my banner is up over there. I have my shirt on today, so I'm on brand. Trying to figure out why my square is not working for my phone. It should connect, but for some reason it's not. So I've been sitting here waiting for everything to start. It starts around 11. Yeah, it starts now because it's 11:03. But I'm here. People are set up, and we're like sort of set up in a circle. And I didn't bring, and there's like bugs everywhere, but I didn't bring my shelving with me. I'm actually going to test that out next week because I am going to be doing a market in New Jersey for the first time ever. So I figured since we are taking a car, I can carry all that stuff with me with ease and not have to worry about packing up into an Uber. But yeah, I'm here. I think we are here until either 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. And everybody's still kind of setting up. We started a little later than expected. These bugs are going to me today. But we started a little later than expected, and hopefully it is a good day. That's what I'm asking for. I'm asking for a good day. I'm asking for a good day, and I'm asking for these gnats to stay away from my eyes. I don't have any bug spray with me. I wanted to record everything this morning before I got here, but unfortunately, I mismanaged my time and I had to get to my storage unit and grab my stuff and then come back. Well, come over here. But I'm here. I'm here. Trying to get my energy up for today, but I am here. I keep looking around because I'm like scoping out the area. Now there is a DJ here and they have like classes and things like that going on. And I'll explain all of that in the recap, but I might not be able to talk as much in this video because they'll have a DJ and I am close by the DJ. I didn't feel like setting up on the other side. Let me show you guys the other side real quick. So that is the other side over there, and then you have vendors all over there. So yeah, so that's why I didn't want to set up over there. And I think they're going to be grilling and barbecue. So I'm over here by the music. I hope it's not too loud. I hope it's not too crazy. I have my water here, big water here, and only thing I don't have today is food. Oh, and I don't know how well filming is gonna go today because I completely forgot my other phone. I'm only with this phone here, and I tried to hook up my tablet to like take transactions, but I don't have internet service for this. So if I could figure it out, then I'll show you guys when I'm interacting with people. If not, unfortunately, it's gonna be like I used to record it before I got the sense to take my other phone. But I left that and I left my hand sanitizer today. But I will check in with you guys a little later on. So it is a little after 12 o'clock and there is still no one here, and this event started at 11 a.m. There's also some people who don't have tables yet. I was just checking the thread on Instagram, and the tables are delayed for those who did rentals. I have one vendor next to me who doesn't have a table, so hopefully the company that they're using will, I don't know, bring them soon because it's not looking good for this little setup here. But I just wanted to give that quick update because there's really nothing going on. I'm actually working on my tablet trying to update some stuff in inventory while I'm sitting here and see what I need to make for next week's market that's coming, that I thought was on Saturday, but it's actually on a Sunday. So I have to make some candles, and I kind of want to take more stuff out there because it is Jersey, and Jersey tends to have more people come to their little markets there. So I'm banking on I'm actually banking on them having these people come, but I might, and because we have the car, I might just take an extra crate of candles and room sprays probably. I don't know about the reed diffusers, maybe the reed diffusers too, but I normally put the reed diffusers in a duffel bag. So we'll see how it works out come next week. But today is for this market, and hopefully more people will start coming through. We're in the park. There's a neighborhood all around us, and this park is usually busy on the weekends. So hopefully there's enough advertisement that people know that there's a market going on here and there's other events going on here. The DJ hasn't started the music yet, so that's good. Oh, and I did get my first sale. A lady came by. She ended up smelling the candles and then making her rounds around the small market here, and then she came back and she bought 8-ounce candle. So I did make my first sale of the day, so I don't have to worry about that. You know how I tend to worry, guys, about actually making sales. So I made that first sale, but we'll see how the rest of this market goes. I really wish the bugs would go somewhere, but I will check in with you guys a little later. putting everything back in storage, and I should be fine. Hopefully those weights don't fall. All right, so welcome back to the recap for this market here. And boy, is there a lot of stuff to talk about when it comes to this market. So I'm not going to ramble on. We are going to hop right into it. All right, so the name of this market that I did was called Grace Wellness Market. And it's a market that took place in Astoria Park. It happened on August 16th, and the market ran from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Now, this is their first time doing a market in Astoria Park, but they have done multiple markets from what I've been told throughout the year and last year. So, to give a little backstory on this market here, in the beginning of this year, I started to look for other markets that I can expand to. I had my normal markets that I did last year that I wanted to return back to this year, but I wanted to up the ante on how many markets I attended. So I took my own advice and I went on Eventbrite and I found this market here, and I ended up reaching out to the organizer to ask about the event a little bit more. This was back in April, so she directed me to their website, which, by the way, the website wasn't fully put up just yet. They were making it as they went. So I should have saw that as a red flag, but I didn't. But their Instagram had a little traction to it. So I'm like, okay, I will take a chance on this one. She said that she was looking for businesses that are sustainable, that are centered around wellness, centered around self care. And I'm like, well, that's my business there. So sure, why not? But it took me a minute to apply because I'm the type of person when it's something new, it's something that I don't know or have experience with. I am very hesitant about jumping full on in. I want to do as much research as possible on something before I give anything a yes. And that's with everything. So I did my research. I looked at the vendors that were supposed to attend. I looked at their Instagram mostly, and I saw that they were legit companies and they were signing up for this event. So despite being a little bit iffy still about it, at the very last minute I went ahead and signed up for it. Now they had a grace period where they were offering the vendor fee for crafters and regular general vendors $100. The regular price was going to be 150. I'm like at the on the very last day, I'm like, okay, I will go ahead and sign up for it because she kept reaching out to me and she kept saying she really would like for me to be a part of her event. So I said, okay, no problem. I'll go ahead, spend $100 and be a part of the event. So signed up, everything straight. In May, I was doing another event that I was doing for the very first time, and I ended up, one of the coordinators ended up finding me and introducing herself. And she said how excited she was that I was going to be a part of their event. And I asked again there, I said, is this your first time doing this? And she said, no, we've done this 50 plus times around the city, but this will be our first event here in Astoria Park. So I'm like, okay, great. All right, so fast forward to the day of the market, actually, a couple of days before the market. Usually, when markets have their event coming up, they tell you two things. They tell you to start posting and advertising the market a week, 2 weeks in advance. And also, they say they're going to send out an email that has all the information for the vendors for the day of so that you're not confused or lost. So, I'm waiting for an email that tells me what time I gotta be there because at that point we didn't know what time to arrive. So I'm waiting for an email all week that will tell me what time to be there, what my vendor spot is, the usual stuff that I go through with every market that I've do here in the city. And the email never showed up. So I'm like, okay, well, let me check Instagram. Maybe there's something on there. And plus, I was getting notifications from there. So one of the coordinators put us all in one big group chat on Instagram, and that's where the information was being relayed to us. Red flag number two. And that's also where we learned that the organizer ended up getting into an accident a couple of days before the market. The reason why they didn't send out the emails, I was told, was because the organizer had all the login information and they didn't have it. Red flag number three. Now, in this group DM, it was on a Thursday. They said that they were going Thursday or Friday. They said they was going to send out a map that details the space so that we know where to go and how to get into the park and where we're located at in the park. And then it was going to show how we set up. I waited for that map to come through either in the DMs, or maybe they got access to the email and could send the email. And the map never really came through. So the day of, they finally gave us a time to arrive. We were supposed to arrive at 9 a.m. So I'm like, okay, I'm not that far from the park. I could go to the storage unit, get my stuff, and then head over to the park, which is what I did. I get to the park, and as I'm in the car, I'm reading the DMs over again to see, is there going to be somebody there to direct us? And we were told that there was going to be someone there outside the park that directs you to where they are and where you need to go. Well, when I arrived, there was no one really there. I just saw a lady who had reflector vest on, and there were people running around the park. So I figured that was one of the events. And that's the other thing I didn't mention. This was advertised as a market that was a wellness market. Okay, so I have the actual post here so I could give you a rundown of everything that was included in this market. So at 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. there was a nature run walk. So that's what I ran into when I got there. I ended up running into that walk because there was people actually running around. And then 10 a.m. to 10:30 was a morning meditation. 10:30 to 11 a.m. was boot camp class. 11 a.m. to 11:30 was Tai Chi. um, 11:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. was a Zumba class, which sounds like fun. Then 12 p.m. to 12:30 was a breakdance show. 1 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. was a salsa class. It was a Dominican salsa class. And then 1:30 to 2 p.m. was the belly dancing. And then um there was trivia from 2:30 to 3, and then 4:30, from 4 to 4:30 there was prizes that were supposed to be given out, and then the speakers were supposed to be in between. So that's the whole itinerary for the whole day, and that's what really sold me. So the nature run, the nature walk that I saw was actually taking place at 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. So that's perfect. It was giving us time to set up for everything. Well, that all sounds nice and dandy, but that's not what happened that day at all. So I get there and I get inside the park, and it is a little after 9 a.m. and there's nobody there to direct, but I did see the coordinator standing on top of the hill. Yes, the space we were at was on top of a hill, and there's no paths to lead up the top of the hill. I went up there and I asked her, I said hello, and I asked her, where is my spot? Where do we start setting up? And here comes red flag number four. And she says, oh, you can set up anywhere. Now, for me, if it's well organized, then you have a layout of the space and you have the specific vendors in a specific spot. That way, it's kind of like you don't have a row of jewelers down one line, a row of cookie makers, a row of candle makers. You have it spread out that way people aren't overwhelmed by one product, one item. So when she said you can set up anywhere, I myself, I don't know where to set up. I don't know where the cutoff is. It's a big area. I don't know how you would want me to set up because you don't have an idea. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'll set up at the end over there because how the vendors were setting up that were already there, there was a row, which was great. There was a row heading straight this way. But then there was also vendors curving around. And then there was a vendor, two vendors on the other side. And then there were vendors who kind of made a two booth row. And there was two sets there, but then it completely cut off. And she just told me just don't set up directly under the tree at the far end because that's where the DJ was going to set up. So I went and I had to actually empty out the majority of my wagon, take it all up the hill. This is a hot day as well. Just to like try and pull my wagon that has my tent and my weights in it up this hill. It wasn't a big hill, but it was big enough that it was kind of an issue to get all my stuff up there. I probably shouldn't have set up my tent there because there was just a colony of ants. By the end of the market, my tent was covered with ants, and I had to spend time just shaking them all off, getting them all off my tent before I could put it away. So I set up everything. I'm getting ready, and this is what I didn't say. As I was coming over, I went back to the DMs, and come to find out, they actually pushed the time back. So they pushed it from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. because the event people they didn't arrive with the tables and the chairs yet because people at the market rented tables and chairs. I noticed that this lady and her friend and her daughter are walking towards me, and I thought they were a customer, but they came and asked me if the space next to me was taken, and I said no. So I noticed that they are putting down sheets, putting down blankets on the ground. So I'm thinking maybe they are patrons and they're just here to like get some sun, relax because it is a park. So, and there's a big open field in front of us vendors over there. So I'm thinking to myself, well, if you want the sun and stuff, just put it on the grass. But no, they were actually vendors at the market, and they had rented a table, and the table wasn't there yet. So her and her daughter ended up setting up on the ground. So fast forward to now 12 p.m. It is 12 p.m. The market is officially underway. We've been sitting there for 2 hours now, and there is still no tables or chairs for those who have rented them. Now, all communication is in the DMs on Instagram, and people are asking, like, what is the estimated time for the arrival? And the coordinator that was there said that they're still delayed. They ended up going with two different vendors to bring the tables. The first vendor did not answer the phone calls at all. And then the second one was about 30, 40 minutes away from the venue. So they said that they would have somebody meet them halfway and bring the stuff over. Long story short, with that, that's red flag number five. The vendors did not get the tables or the chairs that day. One vendor actually packed up and left and said they were there for a few hours now and still no table, no chairs, no nothing, and they paid for this and they expected a full refund back. The lady and the daughter next to me, they actually ended up staying until around 2 o'clock, 1 or 2 o'clock, and then they packed up and left. I felt so bad for them because they were on the ground trying to sell their stuff. So people started to pack up because there's no tables, there's no chairs, there's nothing there to for them to set up their thing, their stuff and start selling. As far as the event goes, all of the things that I read to you in the beginning, I would have to say two of those three of those things happened. The nature walk in the very beginning, which I thought kicked it off great. The break dancing kind of sorta, because he really was just teaching one little kid there. And he taught the kid moves, and it was awesome to see because they were right next to me because the DJ was right not that far from me. And then the other thing was the only full thing was the Dominican salsa that was taught. Now that was pretty cool to watch them. There were vendors there and some people there that actually participated and learned how to do the salsa dance. So that was nice. As far as all the other things that happened, they did not happen. The vendor next to me that was supposed to teach the meditation class, it kept getting pushed back and pushed back. And she's pregnant, so she can't stay there for long. So she ended up packing up at 1 o'clock. So the activities really wasn't present. The DJ that was there, that DJ was more of a block party DJ than it was a wellness market DJ, because type of music I'm expecting is, lo-fi music, subtle, calm, soothing music, and instead we got block party music. We got old school rap, new school rap, a whole playlist that just didn't match the vibe that they wanted to put across. So that didn't work out. And then the biggest thing that did not work out was the turnout. There was practically nobody there as far as foot traffic goes. There were a few people that came through the market for the whole duration of the day. So I didn't get my first sell until 12:07, which was fine because it was still closer to the beginning of the market. It was fine. And that one was actually a 8-ounce Sunday walk. I have my tablet here. And then I got my second sell at 12:32. Now most of my sells happened in the 12 o'clock hour and the 1 o'clock hour. It was very slow. There was very little traffic. I spent my time just on my tablet working on stuff because there was no one there. And the few people that did come around, yes, I did interact with them like I always do. But when there's no one walking around the booths at all, there's really nothing else to do but listen to the music and watch as the coordinator, the coordinators, because there was two of them, just walk around, hand out water, talk to the DJ, hang out. It just, I don't know, it just was a hot mess for me. It really was. When the coordinator finally came over to me, I think she came over a little after, probably around 1:30, I want to say. And she was handing me a water and she said, at the end of the market, I just want us to like get together and gather around a little bit and we can get a little feedback from you guys. And I said, well, I don't think I'm going to stay for the whole thing. And she was like, that's okay. That's perfectly fine. Red flag number 6. I was like, but I do have some feedback for you. And I ended up giving her the feedback that I saw that could have improved the event. Now, I don't know how they run the other events. Hopefully, it's a lot better than this one here. But she told me that she scouted this place out for months. And the thing about Astoria Park is Astoria Park, especially in the summer, is busy all the time. There's people always in the park. So I don't understand why that area had practically nobody or very, very little people walking around there. So you see a tent, a couple of tents, you want to know like what's going on. But it just, for me, it just wasn't it. I ended up packing up at 4 o'clock. I wanted to give it just another hour. I'm like, maybe, it'll pick up. It's getting later in the day. More people come out in the day. It's a Saturday. Maybe it'll pick up. And then once it got close to 4 o'clock, I didn't even wait for 4:00 to hit my phone. I just started packing up. I started packing up. It did take me an hour because I had everything packed up, but I had to shake off my tent of all the ants that was on it and make sure that there was no ants in my crates. And then I learned that one of the vendors I met at Governor's Island, he was also there. And we were just chatting about how unorganized this event was. And he was telling me how the vendors on his side were very upset that people were leaving, packing up and leaving. They were very upset because they didn't have tables or chairs or tents, and they were out there in the glaring sun, so they were upset, rightfully so. And she did say she was going to refund everybody who had rented a table and chair. So I packed up and I headed home. By then, I had a headache because I didn't eat anything that day and I was frustrated. So, yeah, that was that market. That was that market there. It's like, wow. Wow, wow, wow. But let's get to the sales of the day. All right, so I have it pulled up on my tablet here, and this was a very slow day, so it's not going to take much. All right, so for the sales, I had 8 sales for the day. One was a Venmo, one was a cash, so it's not included here. And for my gross pay, I ended up making $217.71. I really didn't have a top seller item or bestseller item, but I did have a bestseller category, which was my 8 ounce candles. I ended up selling 4 of those. Towards the end, when I was ready to give up, ready to go, I had these 2 ladies come to my table and they smelled the products there and they ended up spending a good amount of time there just testing stuff. One of the ladies ended up buying a lot of my products. She bought $111 worth of my products. So she ended up buying 3 of my 8 ounce candles. She bought one of my 10 ounce candles and she bought one room spray. So that's how I ended up moving a lot of product in one sale. And then the other lady ended up buying one of my reed diffusers. So at that point, I was ready to go. I felt so defeated. I didn't make a lot of money, but that really just put me over the top of making my vendor feedback. And I believe I made my transportation feedback. And she was such a nice lady. She enjoyed all my scents. She kept going back and forth between different products. And I feel like she would have probably bought every single product that was on that table. So I did end up giving her my Etsy information. So if she wants to order more, she can always go to the website and order Etsy shop and order more. But that was the absolute highlight of my day. That was the positive of my day was that sale. So thank you to her for stopping by. I hope she becomes a repeat customer because she really did buy a lot of different products. I had to break out the big bag for her just to put all the stuff in there. And then finally, the other thing I didn't talk about was that was actually the market that I debuted my sign that I had made. And I think it came out really nice. I really, really like it. It really tells what I sell there. Now, the one thing it does have on there that's not ready yet is my website. I'm working on the website, and hopefully, by the time this video comes out, the website will already be out and debuted. I'm like trying my best to get it done as quickly as possible. Now, as you saw, as you heard, the positive was that customer that spent $111 on my products. The the weather was pretty nice. I enjoyed the weather. The negative was everything else. Everything else, it was nothing that I expected from this event. I expected it to be this like very active day, very active market, and it just wasn't it. And I was kind of disappointed that it wasn't what was advertised. Will I do this market again? I probably won't do this market again, but I will say this about this market. I'm not gonna necessarily, and I guess that's just me, I'm not gonna necessarily knock her and her team for it because things did come up. If it's a scam, it's a scam. It is what it is. I ended up making my money back, so I'm grateful for that. But I will say it needs to be better organized. If you're going to have people who are going to help you, and God forbid like what happened to the organizer, then you need to make sure your coordinators have access to emails, access to contacts, a better way to relay messages, a organized way. And this is the stuff that I told the coordinator that asked me about the feedback. Have a map. Make it more organized when vendors get there, because the last thing us vendors and small businesses rather want to do is show up at an event and it's not organized. So if you have a map and you say you're going to give out the map, then give out the map. When the vendors get there, then stand firm on how you want it to be mapped out, because I saw a million different ways that the vendor would set up the rest of the vendors on that space, because it was a wide open space. And you could have had rows of vendors in the back. And then on this part here, you could have left this grassy area open for the DJ and the classes or courses or speakers. You could have had chairs for people to sit down and relax, because after a yoga class, you definitely want to relax a little bit. There was so much opportunity there, and it just wasn't taken that day. And hopefully they learn from it and they map out a better strategy for next time if they're going to do something in Astoria Park. But I definitely will not be doing another market there again. I am not going to do a market with them, but I wish them all the best if they really want to do this moving forward. So that is it. I think that's it. I think I covered everything for this market. It definitely had the potential of being a lot better, but unfortunately it didn't turn out that way. And it's sad that vendors had to pack up and leave, including me. I packed up and left. I gave it as much time as possible, but I was done. My social tank was drained. I was just ready to go get something to eat and go to bed. But with that being said, if you all enjoyed this video, then go ahead and hit that like button and share and comment down below. I want to hear some of you guys' worst markets or not so good markets. Just like let me know if you've ever ran into something like this, because we are a community here of small businesses. I see a lot of you guys have small businesses, and I want to hear some of your takes on your worst markets and what you gained from it, what you didn't gain from it, or if you'll ever do it again. I want to hear about you guys, how your markets, your bad markets turned out. Now, if you are new here and you enjoyed what you saw, then also hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so that you could be notified when the next new video comes out. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your week, and don't forget to show yourself a little more appreciation. So until next time, this is Tammy saying, take care, everyone.